The anime starts with a boy named Sabiel struggling to remember who he is, as a girl approaches him, telling him that they have the same eyes. 3 years have passed, and Sabiel stays at Weenia's Royal Magic Academy where he has the lowest grades in the entire academy. He soon finds out that he has been summoned to the headmaster's office. On his way, he spots a girl calling for Headmaster Albus from outside the door. She tells him to shoo until she realizes he was summoned. She comes up with a strategy and compels him to open the door, but Sabiel refuses and decides to threaten the headmaster by injuring one of her students. However, a wolf named Hold'em comes to defend Sabiel. As they were fighting, she drops her staff, and Sabiel attempts to pick it up, but Hold'em kicks it away. They enter the headmaster's room, and Sabiel is asked to receive special training in a different environment. Albus tells about the witch hunt that took place 5 years ago in the south. Albus wants to open a village in the south for witches and wants Sabiel to help as a mage there. If, in 3 years, the inspector considers the place unsuitable, then his memories will be sealed. The girl reveals that her name is Lu, the Dawn of the Witch, and she will be his inspector in exchange for getting the Grimoire of Zero. Sabiel and Lu went to the southern tunnel entrance, and a girl named Holt joined them on their journey to the training village. Later, Lu explained that her weapon is the Staff of Ludens, and when someone touches it they are eliminated. On their way, Sabiel gets motion sickness and they are forced to stop in the forest. Sabiel tells them that he doesn't remember anything before he enrolled in the academy, and if he uses magic, he has no control over it. Lu tells him that nothing is more dangerous than a mage who cannot control their magic. As this is going on, a witch hunter from the church is waiting for the people of the Magic Academy to come into the forest. While they were eating, 2 young guys came and told them that Cut has stolen their stuff and ran away. But Lu immediately knew something wasn't right and told Sabiel and Holt to stay while she goes to search for him. However, they ignored her warning and decided to secretly follow her. As they entered deeper into the forest, they found a part of Cud's tail and were unsure whether they should return to the city. Holt noticed that this was done by the witch hunters and explained that when she was little, they had murdered her friends. Meanwhile, Cud attempts to run but falls into traps. The Arbiter, named Tyrant, finds Cud and immobilizes him. Lu comes and overwhelms him until he hears Sabiel and Holt, and then grabs Sabiel's throat. Lu drops his staff to save Sabiel. As the Arbiter speaks about the witch faction, Holt uses her demon power and attacks, which leads to nothing but a chance for Sabiel to save them by using Lu's magical staff. Lu tells them that his magic was too much and that her staff couldn't eliminate him. Later, Holt finds Sabiel outside and tells him that she is a beast fallen, and that most of their kind are hated throughout mankind, as well as telling him that she is a former spy for the church. But Sabiel says that he doesn't think any differently of her. She goes to bed. The next day, Cud tells them he has the ability to regrow his body but doesn't have the magic supply for it. They decide to use Sabiel's infinite magic instead, with a little chance of Cud exploding. But that's beside the point. After restoring his hands, they entered the city where a horse got mud on Sabiel, resulting in him taking a bath. Cud tells Sabiel about his aim to join the mage army. Afterward, they continued their journey and a child comes and tells them to run if they didn't want to die, and seals a gate which was the barrier set up by the witch of the village. A mercenary comes and used their scent to find where they are hiding. They attempted to fight, but being overwhelmed, they ran as Lu distracted the mercenary, but tells her he's not fighting a losing battle and take his leave. They arrive in a small village where they meet a blind priest named Shinpu, who warns them about the witch's control over the village and urges Holt to leave as she was a beast fallen. They were surprised to learn that the village had surrendered to an invader 2 years ago without a fight, and the witch who was their supervisor had disappeared. Lu arrived and suspected Shinpu of working for the witch and asked him to show them around. After checking out the town, Lu suggests they eliminate the headmaster. However, Sabiel tries to come up with a way to save the village. He explains that he's not afraid to die, and if they want to leave, they are free to do so. However, saying this made Holt cry and run out. Holt enters the church where she sees Shinpu, but upon hearing that Holt has abandoned the church, he captures her. Lu decides to track her using Holt's magic. However, on the way, they discover bloodstains in a nearby cave. Cud leaves the group after expressing his fear of death. Outside the cave, a mercenary claimed to have eaten Holt and offers Cud a chance to join him, but Cud refused. Meanwhile, Lu and Sabiel were caught by a powerful witch. Sabiel recognized her as the girl he had first met. Lu was thrown back by the witch's power. With Holt already eaten, the witch revealed that she had done everything to bring Sabiel back from Albus. She offered Sabiel the choice to join her or face the consequences. Sabiel refused, so Lu siphoned magic from him and attacked the witch. However, she easily deflected the attack. The witch revealed that her name was Zero, the Black Mud Witch and author of the Grimoire of Zero. Despite this, Sabiel refused to give up and stood in front of Lou to protect her from Zero's assault. Zero congratulates them, revealing that everything that had happened was a test. Meanwhile, Holt and Cut arrive, having passed the test as well. At Weenia's academy, the headmaster receives a letter from Zero stating that their students had passed and makes a poster to catch the tyrant alive as they celebrate. Zero tells them that they took the test because their powers would be a threat if they were to become evil, especially Sabiel, who even the witch herself cannot tell how powerful he can become. Later, Zero reveals to Lou that Sabiel is her nephew, as well as the son of the 13 who rebelled against the world during his lifetime. Our heroes have settled into their new life in the Field Studies village. Holt has taken up the role of a hand image, while Cut is assisting at the village clinic, and Sabiel, who has an abundance of magic, has become the village's recharge station, helping the villagers recharge their magical energy. However, Lou is concerned that Sabiel is not leaving the cabin enough, and this may affect his studies at the academy and his mental state, calling him a shut-in. But Sabiel argues that in the event that someone's magic is depleted, he needs to be there, along with doing everyone's laundry. Lou asks him if he also does Holt's laundry, including her panties, to which he replies yes. Lou scolds him, but then remembers something about Zero said. With no memories, Sabiel is practically a slave. Feeling bad, she hugs him and sends him out to find some leaves to get out the house. Sabiel goes out to search for tea leaves alongside Leos in the forest, and they continue to go deeper. However, Sabiel suggests they turn back since he doesn't have the tools to go any farther. Nevertheless, Leos runs off, saying he lied about knowing the way through the forest, and Sabiel forgives him. Suddenly, a mouse appears and tries to give a visual cue. They follow it, and they end up at the church. The Shinpu invites Sabiel to have a meal with him in an intimate manner. Meanwhile, Lily arrives and the Shinpu removes his clothes, revealing that Lily is actually a mouse who cooks delicious food for him. Sabiel wonders why the Shinpu doesn't cook his own food, but Lily tells him that if he were to cook, it would be a nightmare. While eating Lily's amazing cooked food, Shinpu tells him about the dangers in the forest, and what could have awaited him if he had gone alone, including death. He apologizes and tells Sabiel that if he wants to get leaves, he can find them near Zero's home. When Sabiel reaches Zero's home, he runs into Holt. She tells him that she and the mercenary were attacked by wolves in the forest. Sabiel notices blood on her shirt, but she tells him that it's from the mercenary, whom she accidentally hit with her spell. Lou then tells Sabiel that she has a job for him. They went to Zero's to provide her magic, and she kisses him and heals the mercenary. Lou asks Zero why she didn't take more magic from him, since her magic is becoming very low for a witch. She replies that it's not guaranteed that his magic won't run dry. But Lou informs her that as things stand, she will rot away, saying it is what it is. Meanwhile, Hold'em is on his way to the village, thinking about the past when Sabiel's father killed his master's grandma alongside the witch hunter. Cud wakes up after passing out due to his overuse of magic. Sabiel explains to him what happened and tells him that he missed out on Lily's cooking. Cud asks if the old mercenary died, since he normally cooks. Holt tells him he didn't kill her, only accidentally hit her with a spell, wondering how the heck he could accidentally hit someone with a spell. They continue to taunt each other. Lou then arrives, giving them a lecture and making them own up to their mistakes so they can improve. They decide to visit the library, and there they learn about the Forbidden Library and the remnants of disaster in the north. Zero takes Holt for a magic lesson, as she refuses to let her be released until she learns how to cancel her spells. However, after a couple of spells, things take an unexpected turn when Zero faints. Sabiel tries to use his magic to restore her magic, but it doesn't work. He takes Zero to her room where she tells him a bit about his father and the book he wrote. She claims that she cannot read the book, but Sabiel says the book is easy to read since his handwriting is similar, and that maybe he can uncover the secrets of the book his father left behind. Sabiel goes into the forest with Leos, and while they are adventuring, they come across a fallen wolf. Sabiel suddenly gets a bad feeling, and then they encounter the remnants of disaster. Leos and Sabiel get hit by it, but Leos takes a fatal hit, while Sabiel tries hard to save him. He realizes he doesn't know magic and regrets not studying. Just when they were almost falling, Zero, Mercenary, and Lou come to save them. Zero uses Lou's blood to heal them, but it leads to Zero and Lou becoming ill. Lou tells them that the remnants of disaster multiply and spread through the south. Zero worries that someone set this up, so the mercenary went to Father to discuss the issue. They decide to gather information about it. Meanwhile, Hold'em arrives in the village for a surprise inspection. Since he is there, they decide to go into the forest to find the source of the problem, leaving Hold'em in charge of the group. Hold'em explains the situation to them and tells them that Zero and the others are taking care of the remnants' problem. Meanwhile, Lou is still feeling unwell, so she had to stay behind. Sabiel decides that he wants to become a mage and asks his friends to help him train, as Hold'em crushes a crystal, breaking free the prisoner. Father comes to Sabiel and tells him to stay away from his child. As Leo's father leaves, Tyrant sneaks up behind Sabiel and kidnaps him. On their way to their destination, Sabiel starts to remember some of his erased memories of his mother. His mother tells him that he must never approach a witch with the same eyes as him, or she will take everything from him. She hides him behind a barrier as the lady breaks through the entrance, threatening him to come out or be eliminated. Sabiel comes out, but she still slices him off. She attempts to grab Sabiel's heart, but his magic is too strong, causing her own death. Sabiel wakes up screaming, and Tyrant smacks him, telling him to shut up, as the order is to take him alive this time. Holt and Cud comes attempting to save Sabiel. Holt uses her magic to damage Tyrant, while Sabiel grabs Tyrant's arm, telling him not to move or he will eliminate him in an instant. Meanwhile, Lou already had a hint that Hold'em was planning something and instantly confronts him. Going back to the fight, Tyrant catches Sabiel off guard and crushes his arm, as well as knocking out the rest of them. Just when he was about to capture them, his arm is instantly cut off by the Shinpu. He takes off his mask, revealing his eyes, and slices him. Zero comes along with the rest of them. Having already been suspicious of Hold'em, Zero warns him that depending on his answer, his head may be sent back to the office. Hold'em tells them the truth that if the Tyrant manages to bring at least one student back to the academy, he wouldn't receive the death judgment. However, things got out of hand due to the students knocking him out, causing the Tyrant to go a bit overboard. Lou notices it wasn't a test for the students, but for how well the village defense is. After this, Zero explains the reason why they hire people like the Tyrant, and to atone for his sins, he is ordered to serve the village. However, Holt doesn't like the idea of that, but eventually, after everyone pitched in, she agrees only if she gets to monitor him. Hold'em decides to head back to the academy, and Lou overhears that Sabiel has got his memories back, but he feels no emotional response to them. He confides in Holt, asking her what happens when you like someone, since it might hinder his ability to help. She asks him who he thinks about in a life or death situation. Sabiel tells her that he may like Professor Lou. She grabs his hand, saying that she knows how he feels. But remembering what he did to someone who touched his hand, Sabiel turns to Zero, who congratulates him for not being crushed by his own memories. She thought it would leave him traumatized. She reveals to him the truth, telling him that his father, 13, only bore him so he could be a magic supply for her. But after his mother found out, she ran away. Sabiel tells her that by knowing this, he wants to learn magic but continue being a magic supplier, as this isn't for his friends but for himself. He asks her if he can practice on her since even if he messes up, she won't die. Meanwhile, a kid assassin targets Cud, but Tyrant catches the assassin as Lou captures him. They suspect that the church may have ordered him since they don't see people as nothing more than pawns. Lady Heartful, who was at the school, arrives during the investigation. The mercenary attempts to extract information from the assassin, but Cud refuses to resort to torture. Shinpu comes in and the assassin tries to go after him, but Shinpu slams him into the wall. As Shinpu begins to interrogate the assassin, they learn a little about the remnants of disaster and suspect that higher-ups in the church may be involved with the extremists. Meanwhile, Tyrant has decided to teach the kids how to make traps, but Holt cannot shake off what he did to her friends. Cud decides to take Caddy to the church where he ends up eating delicious food to get rid of his hatred for Beast Fallen and witches. Meanwhile, Sabiel was practicing his new spells from Zero. He asks Lou to experiment with the staff, as it was too dangerous for him to use his magic supply on regular people. He also mentions one more thing, and that is that he likes her. Lou falls out of her chair, saying she loves her students too, but Sabiel says that he wants to marry her. However, after finding out that he did it the wrong way, he tells her to forget it ever happened. But realistically, who's going to forget that? While Caddy was sleeping, he dreamed about being trained to fight the witches. Holt wakes him up and takes him and the others to the river to catch fish. Meanwhile, Sabiel wakes up Lou in a hurry to practice his experiment, saying he wants to try a potion he made from his father's book. Lou agrees to let him try it. After drinking the potion, Lou tells him that gave the staff about 2 mages worth of energy, even though Sabiel thought he held back. On his way out, Lou tells him that he plans on monitoring the boy they captured. However, Sabiel tells her that he is currently at the river with Holt and she gets a bad feeling. Flashbacks begin to show Tyrant's past, as he only knew how to make traps, but his father would always beat him for making them. One day, a scouting team comes to him, asking for him to make traps that would even capture a human. After fulfilling their request, he ran into the Shinpu, where he used to work for the church. He had to choose between dying there or living in agony, which made him want to die, and that's how he became who he is today. While rethinking of his past, Caddy starts acting weird, and the remnants of disaster erupt inside of him. Tyrant tries to fight it, but his arms come clean off, forcing him to jump back. Holt attempts to use her demon powers, but Caddy easily broke through. Tyrant swears that he will never again leave his weapon behind ever and attempts to hold it at bay so that Holt could charge her magic. While the tyrant was being brutally attacked, Holt tried another spell, but it did nothing. Running out of options, Tyrant jumped on him, saying to wipe them both, or they will all be wiped out. Cut and Holt combined their magic and managed to finish Caddy off. However, this caused the remnants to multiply and attack them. Luckily, Lou came just in time to rescue them. Sabiel, Holt, and Cud moan over the death of Caddy, saying that if they were stronger, they could have prevented it. While feeling upset, the Dragon King comes to the village to inform them that they are instructed to return to the academy as the village is about to become a battlefield. However, Sabiel and his friends decide to stay, including Lou, to fight. After throwing a little tantrum, Zero admires their determination to protect the village. Shinpu tells Tyrant that it's funny how they are fighting what they used to be a part of, and he is proud that he protected the group from the remnants. However, since Tyrant still considers himself a tool, Shinpu cannot trust him, since a tool may one day break, resulting in injury to the owner. Sabiel tests the potion on Holt, and it is successful. Holt asks how it was made. Sabiel decides to tell them the truth. His father is 13, the sorcerer who purged the world. However, they doesn't care, since Sabiel will always be himself. Tyrant goes to the house where they celebrate him for saving them all. However, he is not used to this feeling of being appreciated and slowly starts feeling embarrassed about it. He decides to scare the teacher away, but somehow it comes off to her that he likes her. Tyrant stumbles across Holt, and she mocks him that even scum like himself can save people when his life is in danger. She decides she won't kill him but instead have his back, since living longer will make him suffer more than death and eventually feel the weight of all the people he has killed in his lifetime. As everyone prepares for battle, Sabiel and the others work with Zero to choose the right magic combination. The opponent has a massive army of 10,000 troops, and the Dragon King plans to take villagers to the Lautra Cathedral on a ship to keep them safe. Shipnu suggests that Lily go with them to stay protected, but she refuses, insisting that she is incredibly strong. Hold'em approached the church and mage knights and asked them to postpone sending troops. The church and mage knights asks Feria to send the magic medic unit. In the meantime, extremists from the church are protesting in front of Zero and the mercenary village. Torres, the head of state of the Creon Republic, received an urgent letter from Feria, the monarch of the holy city Ictios. A noble who loved adventure marched to the north but lost half of his warriors in the process, revealing the truth about the remnants of disaster. When he came back, the dead bodies contained seeds of disaster remnants. The church seized the seeds and gave them covertly to the extremists when the noble went to the church wailing. Sabiel makes the decision to impart his power to Zero in order to ensure the success of their objectives. He is free to give however much magic he wants, according to Zero. Sabiel offers her an abundance of magic, but even the witch herself couldn't absorb all of it given how powerful Sabiel's magic is. She tells him that one day he will make a name for himself just as she is known as the Mud Black Witch. She will call him the Abyss Sorcerer when someone eventually inquires for his name. The army prepares to attack, and the battle is about to begin. Lily uses her mouse friends to lure the enemy army towards a trap. The traps successfully inflict various wounds, burns, and even strip the army naked, but they were all healed due to their strategy of showing mercy to the soldiers. The army's leader retreats, but the demon army continues to advance. While Sabiel and the others were thinking of more strategies, Shinpu and the mercenary are reminded that Lily is out on the battlefield and rush to fight the demon army to save her. Shinpu arrives and slices the demon arm clean off, but it regenerates as the mercenary follows behind. The demon resurrects them and they are both surrounded. Meanwhile, Tyrant and the others defend the village on the other side, using his traps and magic skills. Tyrant has fun toying with them and using his weapon to attack. One of the demons manages to get in. However, Sabiel uses his new skill and instantly blows off its arm. Holt uses a new fire spell, but accidentally goes overboard. The mercenary manages to bring the demon leader to where the others are and asks the witch for help to fully eliminate him. Zero uses an ancient spell that she can only cast when she has a full amount of magic. The spell causes the dead to rise up and take the demon with them. The demon is devoured to death and tells them that if a mage goes down the wrong path, it could cause a problem for Zero as it would require some effort to vanquish them. As the battle finishes on their end, Albus organizes a show and invites Bishop to identify who has spread the remnants of disaster. However, the remnants of disaster suddenly appear and attack the people, and Bishop's lies are instantly revealed. Lou intervenes, removing the fake remnants she had created, and forgives Bishop after throwing the same pill he gave Caddy. After the battle, word got around about the witches, and 0 people were lost in this fight, causing a positive perception towards witches. The anti-witch faction is put to an end. After completing their mission, our heroes receive their diplomas from Weenia's academy and are offered jobs. Zero asks Sabiel to keep his father's book since she could never figure out what it said. Sabiel tells her to just flip the book upside down. After all these years, she couldn't believe it was that easy. Sabiel asks if he can call her Aunt Zero and gives him a tap on the head. Tyrant decides to stay in the village, and they leave for a new journey to learn more about the remnants of disaster from the Forbidden Library. Even though Sabiel is slowly becoming more powerful, his biggest weakness still is vehicles, and with this, Season 1 comes to an end. Hope you enjoyed the anime recap. Let us know what you thought. I'm out.